Stories, my friend, can often shed light on certain truths that we may not always want to recognize. One of those is how many people will see safety as a priority, whether it's job security, insurance, or just whatever can be guaranteed or seems guaranteed, or just like protection from whatever could happen. That's just something that a lot of people seem almost wired to dove towards, regardless of what potential consequences there may be. And sometimes it does become a bit extreme in a sense. Now, an example to be safe spaces, where again, it can be a good thing to have someone to actually talk to you who can just listen and allow you to either vent or basically work through something or give you advice without having to worry about if they're just going to start yelling at you for whatever reason. But there are kind of things where people almost want to have any form of conflict just shut out. Anything they don't disagree with, anything they don't like, anyone they don't like, they just want that gone from their space and they'd like to almost exist there permanently. And it's just sort of a thing where stories often have a way of showing us that there really is no true safe space. There isn't a way to get out of conflict, to get out of danger. Because really, while we might associate the danger with those who are really in the thick of things and taking action, there's still a danger outside of that role. And again, even in regular stories, like set in a small town, there might just be relational drama going on, where someone's heart is at stake. But again, a lot of stories may involve higher stakes than that. For example, a lot of origin stories for various characters throughout fictional history involve something happening to someone else, or even a hometown to set the protagonist on their journey, whether it's to seek revenge or to basically realize that there is a toss there to having power or just to get the hero to go someplace else. There is something drastic that happened and the hero might not have a home to go back to. Or there can be the characters who just want things to go as normal. They don't want to realize that there's a threat on the horizon. And so they sit their heads in the sand like an ostrich, and when danger comes, they're actually not prepared. They just think, oh, if we ignore it, it will go away. It won't bother us if we just pretend it doesn't exist. But the thing is, danger often doesn't tear. And so the very fact they were not prepared means that there may just be a small resistance left after whatever comes through, basically. They don't have like extra bunters, they don't have extra shields, they don't have extra supplies, they don't have hidden weapons. They were just completely unprepared and steamrolled basically by whatever threat was coming. And classic example is the disasters. Now there might be some people who see the warning signs and try to warn people, and they might be a bit better prepared than others. But for the most part, the disaster just happens, and people are left scrambling to survive. And then they don't really care whether someone's prepared or not for it. They're just impersonal forces. Now, surely, in the context of stories, being nominally important can protect people, maybe even just being on the sidelines supporting the heroes from the distance, but safe away from the firing. Nope. Just one episode of character development for some characters, and it may be their last. Or it could just be a momentary thing where it's time, or the people want drama. But then, again, that often happens, as even just being the extras on the team does not guarantee safety. Where, sure, most people will be paying attention to them, but it also means that, oh, the extra is free range. And even then, there's the classic victims of wheat, where just by being in the associated area, they had nothing to do with the plot, or whatever, they're kind of in danger, and they become the victims of the wheat. So it's like, they are not part of the detective force, but still, life didn't work out for them. So it's just one of those things to think about. Now, even the main characters tend not really escape danger, because, again, they're in that thing of the constant stream of maybe seeing people suffering. So there can still be traumas and even wounds that they sustain. And plot armor doesn't always last, as there are sometimes moments where, yeah, that plot armor is gone. They may have escaped many strips before, but they aren't escaping this one. The point I'm trying to make is that things are always happening in life. We can't just halt them and make them still and say, I don't want any conflict or whatever. And whether by someone's choice or not, some things are impersonal, some things are not. Some things that happen are dangerous or even just unpleasant to deal with. So while caution taken can be good and there are things we can practice to help with safety, we also can't always count on basically, oh, I've prepared for every circumstance, or we have to make sure we are completely and totally safe. Especially since by trying to seek that safety, we can almost become prevented from doing anything of actual worth with our lives. Again, look throughout history. Most people of note have taken some risks that they've done something drastic, whether for good or for bad, but they've done something that was different from the norm, that was without the bounds of safety. So they are now remembered for it. And while slice of life is enjoyable story-wise and can be a pleasant thing, most people will still line up for the action flicks. That's what people want to see, and maybe it's just because it is separate from life, so they get to have that thrill without the stakes. But then it's kind of a thing to really think about is most people want to see a drastic thing happen. But anyway, those are my thoughts on this. Why not share yours in the comments below? And if you enjoyed this video, you can like and share it so others may enjoy as well. Anyway, I'm Jonah, and you've been watching Lionsmane Media, where we celebrate stories and lessons of them. Thank you for listening to my musings. Talk to you later, and have a great rest of your day.